Hello, listener, and welcome to Book 4, Chapter 6 of Bite-Sized Tales, the audio flash fiction podcast. This chapter continues a story that began in Book 4, Chapter 4, as we continue this serial that I'll be doing throughout the entire book. Direwald Diaries, The Maevis Matter, Part 2. In our previous entry, Eli, the gunslinger, was minding his own business in one of the many saloons in the Boomtown of Direwald. It was then he was approached by a well-dressed and appointed young girl who wanted to hire the scoundrel. For payment, she offered a rather large, mysterious sky stone, a crystal with a swirling, ethereal center. The young girl, Maevis, wanted to hire the gunslinger for what she felt was a simple, yet urgent task: killing her mother. Eli couldn't answer. Any words he thought to say stuck quickly in his throat. Rocking his gaze back and forth between the sky stone and the girl, he finally spoke. "I'm sorry, Younger. I have to go back. Why would a girl, all primped and neat and clean, want to kill her mother? By the looks of you, it seems to me she's a mother who loves you." The girl shook her head in defiance. No, she's... The girl paused. "She's a monster," Eli sighed. "I've heard enough. What's your name, anyways?" "Maevis," she whispered. Removing his hat, Eli ran a hand through his sweat-dampened brown hair. Adjusting his posture, a new round of sweat beads began streaming down his back. Eli's eyes turned sad as he put his hat back on and looked over at Maevis. "Okay, girl. Maevis. All girls hate their mothers at one time or another, just as all boys hate their fathers. The lords above know that I've had issues with mine time and again. Hell, I had to shoot my father once. Didn't kill him, of course. More of a shooting to maim sort of thing. But, you see, he deserved it. My father was a son of a Eli stopped as he noticed Maevis's blank stare. "I'm not making my point or helping you see things right, am I?" He placed his knees on the ground and leaned in closer. "Doesn't matter. Maevis, we need to get you home. She's likely to be No," Maevis's voice took a sharp tone. "It's true. She howls like a beast at me." Eli nodded. "Sounds about right. What's your pa say about all this?" "I don't have a pa. Haven't for years." "Well, sometimes women do get lonely," Eli muttered, nodding his head and standing. In his mind, Eli felt sure the puzzle was solved and sussed. Allowing no more protest and grabbing Maevis by the arm, he spoke. "Okay, let's go. I'm taking you back to your home. By the looks of you, I'm guessing you and your ma live on the Gilded Lane. Though I must say, seems a mite peculiar that your mom didn't remarry. Your pa must have been deep in the green." Eli pulled Maevis toward the northern end of the city. She resisted, struggling at first, but Eli's size and stature made ignoring her efforts easy. He knew the contrast between his stained, dusty clothes and rough face to Maevis's spotless dress and clean complexion, coupled with her struggles, were drawing looks. So he did his best to meet them with a smile, hoping to show he had nothing to hide. None of the looks were positive, but Eli knew, or at least hoped, no one would sound an alarm. Most of the folks in Direwald either had their own problems or didn't want trouble. "The last thing I need is to get pinned for some sort of mischief I didn't even start. I'm just trying to help," he thought to himself. Suddenly, Eli felt his arm yank. His grip instinctively tightened, but it wasn't enough. Maevis was free. Spinning, he glared at her. Defiance was again written on her face, but Eli spotted something else. A trace of fear. "No, it's true," Maevis's voice faltered. "It's more than just her yelling." Maevis put a hand over her sleeve. She tried to bite me." Eli cocked his head. "Did you say she tried to bite you?" Maevis nodded. "She must be lonely, the likes I've only seen a few times," he joked to himself, but his skepticism remained. "Show me." Pushing up her sleeve, Maevis slowly turned her arm over. Eli leaned down. There it was. Bite marks. But something was off. The lines and bumps that meant a human's bite weren't there. All these marks looked like pinpricks. "Lots of them," Eli whispered. The prick marks followed the pattern that looked like a mouth, but longer. Eli muttered in confusion. "What the hell?" Poking at the marks brought a wince from Maevis, and she yanked her arm free once again. Ow! Realizing what he'd done, Eli apologized. Sorry. He knelt down once again and looked Maevis in the eye. Doubt crept into his voice. When did she do this? The other day, when the big storm came through. I was napping. I woke up when she bit me. I screamed and she ran out of the house into the rain. I wrapped a bandage around the blood. When I saw her later, my mom tried to convince me it was just a dream and that ants had gotten to my arm. Maevis pulled the sleeve back down. I didn't believe her. And I'm not of the inclination to believe you, Yonker. Eli pointed to the marks. Those there could also be made from the overindulgent imagination of a little girl who wants attention from her wealthy mama, so she grabs a sewing needle and concocts a story. Maevis looked at him. Her face was blank. If I wanted attention from my mama, then why would I steal my mama's skystone, run away to a sin-filled saloon, and talk to the mangiest-looking man that doesn't have a woman hanging on him like the way my sister Charlotte hangs off of Stephen St. Germain? Looking away briefly, Eli smirked. I think I'm a bit more on the scruffy side than mangy. Maevis slid free and moved toward the crowd. Keep the stone. I'll find someone else. Rubbing his face, Eli studied the girl. It could be another ploy, as something still didn't sit right. It's not like you haven't seen the unexplained before, he reminded himself. His mind flashed back to a number of instances where the real world seemed to take a different set of tracks, veering off into the unknown, mysterious and sometimes horrifying. But none of those times had a little girl asking me to kill her mother, his thoughts added. Standing, he stepped after her. All right, Yonker, I'll aid you. Turning and smiling, Maevis stopped her march. Eli moved up to her. No, I didn't say I'd kill your ma. I said I'd aid you. And first, that means to see what the truth is. Your ma says it was dark ants. You said it was her. I say we're going to find out which one of you is telling the truth. The smile on Maevis's face faded, but she took Eli's hand. So what does that mean? It means we're going to see a doctor. I don't like doctors. Maevis grumbled as the pair made their way from Pearl Street and into the crowds of Direwald. Well, then you'll probably like this one even less. Author's note. So I'm continuing this story, and we'll do so for all of my solo chapters in Book 4. And one of the things I like about the way the story is structured is that you learn little bits about the town of Direwald, its occupants, its touching of the supernatural and strange. And while this chapter certainly lays some of that out, the story continues to do so as we go, and it's one of my favorite parts of this story as a whole. So, hope you're enjoying it, and we'll see you for the next chapter. This chapter of Bite-Sized Tales has been brought to you under a Creative Commons Attribution, Non-Commercial, No Derivatives 4.0 International License. Intro and outro music is Fantasy Motion by Alexander Nakarada, provided under a Creative Commons 4.0 license. If you've enjoyed what you've heard today, we greatly appreciate reviews and recommendations to your friends. For more information about our authors, visit bitesizedtales.com or follow us on Instagram at bite_size_tales. We look forward to reading to you next time.